Yesterday I did a video on this high chest, and I had a question. And I was asking about, and I'll bring the light down here, about on this drawer. See that piece of wood? What in the heck is that for? Well, I finally found out. And if you look right there, this is a spring, except right here it's been cut. This piece of wood would have gone all the way to about here where you see this cut. And it's a spring like a diving board. And it was a lock. They're called Quaker locks. And you can see all the hand-made nails there. And that held that in place here. But as you go out further, of course, the wood gets thinner, like a wedge. And you could push down here and push it up against the drawer bottom here, and like a diving board. And that's why when you come up here, you see that hole. Okay, and you see all the way how it's dug out there. That's the length of that piece of wood. And in order for that to work, you would have to open this drawer here, the second one right there. You'd have to open it up, stick your finger through that hole. I can get it. Or here's better up here. Stick your finger through that hole and push up on that piece of wood to clear that ledge there, and you can open the drawer. It's a secret lock, and I just found that on my research yesterday. They're called Quaker locks. Not only were they done in Pennsylvania, but Rhode Island also did them. It's just a secret way of having a lock on your drawer. And also, I had, in a previous video, I had asked, here you have these gouged out areas for the bolt. And why did they gouge that area out? Is because back in the 18th century, these bolts here were handmade, and when you went to the brass smith to get your bolts, they were of varying sizes. And as you can see, you have two sizes there. They were not standard. And if all he had was a short bolt, you had to buy it. And since the bolt would not go through the front of the drawer face, you had to gouge it out to put the washer in to secure the bolt. Now here are those, these are called rosettes that go on the front like this. Okay, you can see how thick these are. They're not thin, listen. Those are thick, okay? Now you can see these are cast. You can see the imperfections there. See if I can get a little closer. See this? Those imperfections are sand. These were put into sand molds. That was only done in the 18th century. And you could still see the sand. They didn't finish the inside. They would finish the outside. But they never finished the inside because that's stupid. It's not shown. Why do the labor? And all of these are different from one another, close enough so they look the same. But since they're all done by hand, they have different thicknesses. These little edges here are filed slightly different. I can't get the edge there because of focusing. But you can see how the thickness in the sand casting will tell you that your brass pulls are original to the 18th century, plus these bolts, different sizes. You see there where it's cut, the smith cut it. Can't probably get that. You can see where it cut it with a saw. These are all different. That shows you have 18th century brass, especially the thickness. This could be paper thin like you buy today, but in a brass mold back then they couldn't do that. They have to have some thickness to it. You know, another thing I mentioned yesterday on my video on, let me bring the, you notice how in the drawers here you have the grain going north to south. Here's the front, here's the lock. That's a metal lock. And you see the grain going that way. Okay, that's prior to 1760. And the reason why they did that is it was economically to use wood that way. However, it cracked. Lots of cracks occurred. So they began to lay the grain from this side of the drawer, east to west, so to speak, or west to east, this way. And believe it or not, cracks were reduced. So you can date your drawer piece prior to 1760. It would go from the back, the grain from the back to the front. After 1760, from west to east. And that's somehow, most of the time there's no hard and fast rules on antiques, but generally they followed that same pattern. So, as you could see, it's the same on this drawer. Here's the front. There's even the smaller drawers. So I just found it very interesting that you have to stick your finger, let me see if I can get this, through the hole right here to lift up on that spring and then pull the drawer out. That's kind of funny. Why they did that, I don't know. When they put metal locks in the subsequent drawers below, why didn't they do up here, save money? I don't know, but so that answers that mystery. Thanks for watching.